The next show will start in 1 minute.
Streaming live from the Paul and Catherine Ranke Memorial Studio, this is TV Free Baltimore. Support for TV Free Baltimore comes from viewers like you. Become a TV Free Baltimore member by visiting patreon.com/TV Free Baltimore.
You're watching The Paul Stefan Show on TV Free Baltimore.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Paul Stefan Show. And today we have with us an old friend of the station, a great guy and a great actor. And his most recent film is called Harvey. It's now streaming, and he'll talk about all the platforms you can find it on. But first, let's look at a clip.
Listen, Karen and some of the other customers are complaining that you're being creepy and rude again.
Hey there, Harvey.
Can you just try to be nicer? Smile a little bit more?
I'm so sorry, Karen. We all hate our jobs. Quit acting like you're the only one. That ain't just my job I hate. I hate everyone and everything equally. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna get you out of here.
It's ketchup.
They'll come any dumber.
Great. That was perfect. That man is a danger to women. You should be on my side.
Correction! I'm on the side of the bowling alley. Hell time. I'm not waiting on you anymore.
Help! Someone help me!
Hey, John!
Help! Someone help me!
Hey! Sheriff, what brings you here today?
John Snyder's been reported missing by his wife. Do you think that Harvey had something to do with John's disappearance?
Harvey wouldn't hurt anyone. I still don't get why we can't go to the police.
You want to be an accessory to murder? He's worked here for a few years. He's okay.
Keep an eye on him.
I will.
Did you kill somebody?
I might be an asshole, but I ain't a killer.
You burned the body too? I always get my man.
I hate this town.
Talk to the sheriff. Turn yourself in. Let them find out the truth.
I'd rather pay the price than have an innocent person do that. How can you live with that,
Come
Keith?
on, man. How innocent is he really? I thought we were together on this.
No, we're not.
I think I killed someone, Jack. Did you?
And that's the trailer for the great new film Harvey, and we're here with one of the stars of that film and co-director and co-producer, Johnny Alonso. Welcome back, Johnny.
Hey, it's good to see you, brother.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Now, what people just saw, maybe you want to tell people a little bit about Harvey so that they want to go stream and see it right now.
Sure.
After the interview.
Yeah, Harvey. I always describe it as an 80s vibe, modern day psychological thriller. It's about this guy that really hates life and how it is in this small town. And he's kind of pegged for this murder. But there are possibilities of him actually, they could have done this murder. And it's got a lot of twists. I mean, it's so hard for me to explain, even though I've seen the movie so many times, and I actually shot the piece. But it's got like this Hitchcock twist, and very it'll just take you for a ride, bro. I mean, it's not a spoon-fed film. You actually you have to think about it, and it's very artsy, and I think people would dig it.
Well, sure. I of course saw it at the Baltimore premiere.
That's right.
Senator.
You were there.
We were there doing the red carpet.
You were the exclusive interview.
We were.
And we thank you, TV Free Baltimore. You guys are the best.
Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah, man.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We're there for you, Johnny.
I know, brother.
And about Harvey, tell us a little bit about the midnight releasing, the A-Court people, what they're doing, and what they've done for you, and also all the platforms that people can find this movie on.
Sure. Harvey was picked up by Midnight Releasing, A-Court International, and we're very happy with them because, I mean, it's not easy to get distribution. It's even harder to find a distribution company that believes in you, and Midnight Releasing really believes in Harvey. I was introduced to Midnight Releasing through a very good friend named Edward Abramson, a fellow producer in Los Angeles, who knows Darren Ramage, the owner.
Okay.
And we were able to basically put our link on the top of the pile. So, they watched it and they really enjoyed it, and they saw major potential in the film, and Renell and I got on the phone, and we were able to strike a deal, and the rest is history. But
great.
They've been fantastic. They've been behind us. Their PR division, run through Samara Entertainment and Sherry Flattery. They're the best. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all of our promo online. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere, and that's what you need. You have to keep feeding the general audience and public, so you grab their attention, and they're gonna want to watch the film. But Midnight Releasing is fantastic, and I think we're on 15 or 18 platforms around domestically.
That is a lot.
It's not bad for a start. We've only been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to start hitting the foreign markets, I think, next month.
Okay.
The bigger platforms, I can't mention names right now, but you know who they are. The bigger platforms, I'm anticipating us to get on them in the next month and a half, 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, because we have to make our money back.
Of course.
Yeah, we have people that we have to pay back for the project. And if we put them on the bigger platforms, everybody's got a membership, including myself. So, no one's going to be, throwing any money our way. So, it's on all the video on demands. You can't miss it. I can drop a few, like Apple TV. Here in Baltimore, it's at Xfinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, Comcast.
They have it?
Yeah. My God, Tubi, Vimeo, YouTube movies. Yeah. The list is...
And they are big names, too.
They're absolutely. They're great platforms.
It's not like people say, huh, what's that? Never heard of that.
If you go to midnightreleasing.com/Harvey, you'll be able to see all the links there.
Well, that's terrific.
Yeah, man.
And part of it, I guess, is thinking that... you may be working with them more in the future, because I think you had said something in a private conversation that, if you got so many platforms, Midnight Releasing may work with you some more.
Absolutely. I mean, work generates work, and if you're successful, they're gonna wanna work with you again. And like I said, we have a great rapport with them. They really believe in the film, and they're just nice guys.
Yeah.
They came to our Hollywood screening in October, and they flew in from Arizona.
Wow.
And they couldn't get over that we had so many people, sold out in Hollywood.
Right.
And we were ready to go. I mean, I was supposed to keep the date quiet, January 7th, at the Hollywood premiere in October. But when I was doing the last words, when the movie was over, and I took the mic and I'm talking, on the mic, thanking everybody, I looked at A-Court and I was like, hey man, I mean, is it okay if I announce that we're going to be released on this date? They go, oh yeah, just tell them. So it was great,
Well, to see it in Indy, though, to have like 3 premieres. And then, of course, the East Coast premiere was here at the famous Senator Theater.
It's fantastic.
And we had almost 600 people there.
It's true.
You doubled what you had in LA.
Double what we had in LA. The Senator Theater was fantastic. I've had a few of my films premiere there that, I was just in.
Right.
Just as an actor. This is the first time I had a film where I co-directed, co-produced, co-starred.
Right.
Everything. And what we have here, the film community that we have here in Baltimore, is just phenomenal. The support here is fantastic. And remember, I helped Rennell cast. So I took a lot of talent from the DMV.
Right.
You know, example is Eliza Kelly.
Oh, sure.
You know, she's been on your show.
Wonderful.
Desi Velez.
Another one.
You know, Michelle Lewis.
They've all been on my show.
They've been in the studio.
They've been in the studio.
Richard Cutting. I don't know if you remember. He played Jack.
He was terrific.
It's phenomenal. And
Great character actor.
Phenomenal. He's fantastic. I worked with him on Milgram and the Fast Walkers, the sci-fi show, and of course the westerns, Bill Tillman and the Outlaws.
Yes, of course.
And Day of the Gun. But when Rennell was like, we got to find these characters, of course we went through the talent pool in Florida first. And just couldn't find the right looks, just couldn't find the right attitude, because there's a space that you play in when you're working with casting. It has to be right. You just don't throw somebody in.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I've got these people. They're reliable. Not only that, they're talented.
Oh yeah.
And I see character types in these actors that we just mentioned.
Right.
So Rennell was like, well, let's give them a shot. So I got them to read. They sent auditions in, and Rennell said, perfect. We're casting them. So we flew them into Florida, and the rest is history, man.
Well, that's good. Now, had you talked? I think you said something at some point. I read reviews.
Yeah.
What kind of reviews has the film been getting?
Great. I mean, great stuff. I mean, it's just trickling in. So I'm still waiting on the big one, Rotten Tomatoes, to get back to us.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
So what percentage you get?
Right. So if you look at our IMDb, we have a pretty good ranking on there right now. Some of the independent reviews have been great. You're always going to have the ones that say, well, it was this and it was slow here. That's expected. But you're still getting 3 out of 5 stars, 4 out of 5 stars. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
say what you want.
That's great.
Yeah. And if you don't like the movie, I don't care. I don't need you. That's fine. That's okay. But everything has been positive, and we've been doing a lot of interviews, myself included.
Yeah.
For a lot of these horror fanzines and trades online, and everyone that's been asking us for interviews has seen the film, and they've all said great things about the movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So good feedback.
It's absolutely. It's just a cool sleeper hit, per se. That's what everybody's been calling it.
Yeah.
And the music that I put in.
And those bands that I had a chance to interview.
Great stuff, man. When Rennell and I were putting the film together, we could have just shot it as a psychological thriller in a small, sleepy town. And it would have been like every other film. It just wouldn't have had any personality. I really did come up with the idea of throwing an 80s vibe pitch to it, even though keeping it modern day, not making it a period piece.
No.
Rennell found the greatest bowling alley that we shot in. I mean, she hit a grand slam with that.
In Florida.
In Oviedo, Florida. It had everything. It had the pinball lounge, the video arcade, the cool Floridian colors, which looks very retro and outdated.
Yeah.
So then of course, we styled it with the hairstyles of the actors and the wardrobe. And then here I am pumping in some authentic 80s music, as well as new bands that sound like 80s bands. And it all came together. It's got a cool vibe. It's got a great personality.
Now, is there anything that's coming through that tells you like how well it's doing, like the number of views or rentals, or do you get that information? Or?
We will. Quarterly statements from the distribution company.
To see if are any certain targets they're looking for? Or?
I'm just looking for us to break even, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem, just from what I've been hearing about the numbers. They can't give out specifics.
Right.
They can't, you can't make a phone call to Tubi. You can't make a phone call to Voodoo and say, hey man, how many views today? They're not going to be like, block. So
no, it's not like on YouTube and you can see views.
No, it's not like that at all. We're just waiting for everybody to gather their numbers, give us a quarterly statement through midnight releasing. Okay. And then we'll go from there. But from what I've been told, all the platforms have had rents and buys.
Oh, good.
And it's only been 2 weeks. It's fantastic.
That is great.
It's fantastic. So we're just trying to keep the momentum so that the balloon doesn't drop quickly.
No.
Because I know a lot of films that do really well for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the 4th week in, no one's renting it. And that's not happening with Harvey. Rent the movie.
Right.
Rent
folks,
the movie.
Listen, Johnny, because I was going to say, I mean, that happens in box office. They will say the box office, they look at opening weekend, and how much percentage does it go down in the second weekend?
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah, from what I've been told, though, yeah, we've maintained the numbers, if not gone up on a few platforms.
Well,
so
that's good.
I'm stoked.
Maybe more people are seeing it, and they're sharing and telling people, you got to see it.
That's all.
And that's what you want, the word of mouth.
That's all I'm asking for, man.
And of course, in this film, it was a little different because instead of your long career acting that you co-produced and you co-directed and you casted to a degree, that was different. How was that for you? And as an actor, I mean, what were the pluses and minuses of doing all these, wearing these different hats?
I'm still tired, man. I'm still tired. We shot this like over a year and a half ago. It's definitely, it's an eye opener. I mean, I'm used to just being the actor.
Right.
Getting on set. Becoming the character.
Right.
It's fun. It's great. I have a pretty good handle on it. I've done pretty well for the years I've been working. Co-directing, co-producing, and casting. Different worlds. I mean, I've been involved on a little bit in these levels, but for one film, it's a lot of responsibility.
Right.
And we were also shot in 2020 when the new COVID SAG contract rules came out, so we were under a major spotlight. Had to be very careful with how we were filming. Had a lot more rules and a lot more regs and a lot less money because we had to spend a lot of it on COVID testing,
Right.
And there was no overtime during this 2020 filming. 8 hours and that's it. Get off set. Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of time to film this flick, but
and you had a tight kind of shooting schedule, didn't you?
We sure did. What was it, like 12 days?
12 days.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Believe
have something of that quality in 12 days.
That's the quality came from the actors, the cinematographer, who I'll mention, of course, and the directing. Shannon Lanier from Dark Ronin Films. I pulled him in to become our DP.
Right.
Without him, the film would not look as beautiful as it does. There's no question.
Right.
There is absolutely no question. He came through. I was like, listen, man, we have this budget, a decent sized budget for this film, and I don't want to lose it because COVID is really shutting things down. But we got cleared to film this movie, and I need a good gunner. And he was like, yeah, I'm your man. Because I worked with him before, and he's good with horror. He's good with psychological thrillers. He's good with the dark, and let me just add this: Harvey is one of 8 films.
Only one of 8.
One of 8 that was cleared. One of 8 indie films that was cleared to shoot in 2020 by the Screen Actors Guild. So it's another reason why Midnight Releasing and a couple others were trying to jump on our project because. It is new content that was actually filmed during the hard COVID 2020, and for the limited amount of time and space that we had to play in, the movie came out fantastic. It looks really good. I'm not just saying that.
And it's like it all works because not just the acting, like you said, the music, the look of the film. Because when I were at the premiere, I asked Shannon about that, and he said he was looking for a dark palette for the movie.
Absolutely. I always say that I like my stuff dark lit. Yeah, dark lit. And like, what do you mean by that? I said, you just figure it out. That's what I need, And that's how I actually direct. I mean, when I was able to direct, there were some days when Renelle could not be on set.
Okay.
She's on another location. We had to
right.
double take, do everything at the same time. So there were a couple scenes where I got to shoot and direct on my own. And one of my favorite scenes was when Allison Meister, who plays Madison, I'm not going to give away too much, but dragging a body out in the field.
Right.
It was perfect. Florida is always hot. I sweat when it snows. I can't stand the heat. I like this Baltimore weather that we had. So in Florida, I'm dying. But that evening, we're shooting near this like swampy lake land area. And it was cool, like cool mist coming off the water, right? The smell of cypress, and it was dark. I mean, all you had were starlights, and I just remember being out there, and when I had to direct the scene between Allison and myself, I really fell into my character. I forgot that we were actually acting for a second. And that hasn't happened to me since theater.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, that's kind of creepy. Turn the lights on now, man. This is weird, But no, I had a great time. I did have a great time directing.
Oh, you did. So you kind of like this thing. Maybe you get a little directing bug now. I don't know.
A little bit. It's maybe a bigger budget with a lot more time, because there were days where I had to act and then throw a producer's cap on and yell at everybody, and then take that off and then start directing. It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the way it usually is with an indie.
Absolutely.
But now another thing to look at, I guess, is to say other projects that you have waiting, or things that you're going to do, and things that that you feel that you can talk about, because I know there's things that are in the can, or they got trailers, or they're in different places right now. If there's anything you want to talk about, how busy of a guy we know you always are.
You in particular, because we stay in touch. I can mention the fact that I'm going to be on A Haunting.
All right.
February 11th.
Great. You can watch that on the Travel Channel.
On the Travel Channel.
Discovery Plus.
And Discovery Plus. That's a Friday, I think, at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I guest starred a new episode called Nevermore.
Oh, and sounds like Poe.
it does. It's perfect, right? I think out of the 1 hour episode, I'm on there for about 42 minutes.
That's a lot.
It's a pretty big character. So I'm so stoked, because A Haunting has changed. The producers have changed and reformatted the show. It's a lot darker. It's a lot scarier. It's a lot less, predictable. It's not predictable. It's dark. It's shot like an American Horror Story. So I had literally a ton of dialogue. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this episode come February. I got a couple other things. I got this major audition that I hope.
I know, but we won't.
Yeah, we can't mention that.
Can't mention that one.
No, but I can mention a project that I'm producing with my business partner, of course, Herb Becker, who was also
in that movie. Yeah.
Yes, he was in Harvey. He played Randy, the guy with the big mustache.
Yeah, right.
But we're doing a project that's kind of in development right now, and I've got a couple named actors that, if the timing's right, because they're working right now. But if we can get them on in that window when they're not working, they've already agreed to be in the project.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be something else. And originally I pictured Atlantic City to be the backdrop, the splash of this film, because that's another thing with me, man. When I put films together, at least in my head, I like the background, the imagery, the lighting has to be just right. And I always saw Atlantic City, but I think we might take it here. We might shoot it here in Maryland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It all works out.
It might be different.
It will be different. It will be different.
Well, we got casinos here too.
Yeah, we got casinos here too. But I mean, maybe shoot 90% of it here and do another 10 on location. But you also go where the money is.
Yeah.
So if the money is coming from the state of Maryland or from private investors here in Baltimore, then it's their call.
Yeah, or if it's coming from Jersey.
If it's coming from Jersey, then we go back up there for the tax incentive.
You gotta chase the dollars.
That's all it is, man. It's all it is. And then of course Renell and I have a few projects that are in like you said, various levels of production and development.
Yeah.
There's Empath,
right? Which I can't wait to see that.
Me too.
Interesting, this kid and the whole thing.
Dude, yeah. Anything with any kind of horror story with the kid's always creepy.
Yeah.
Come on, man. The Exorcist, The Omen. Give me a break, man. The Twins and The Shining.
Yeah, sure. Legacy of Love.
Legacy of Love. Oh, well, that's another project. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're good. Aaron and I played the young parents in this project called Legacy of Love, and I think I'm going to be flying to Florida February 4th. Yeah, the movie was picked up by Random Media. It's a decent distribution company, and it's a good film. I mean, it's kind of it's like a faith-based, kind of a messagey kind of story, but working with Erin, any chance I get to work with my favorite, Erin O'Brien,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, she's really become like your major scene partner.
She is my scene partner. We're our favorite on-screen scene partners. We say that we're the dynamic duo. We just know how to work with each other. We were first introduced to one another on this set of What Death Leaves Behind, as you do. You were there. And we promised each other that we will be working with each other again, and 4 or 5 projects later,
And you're still...
And we're still kicking it.
And doing them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is another talented actress and a very beautiful woman.
She is.
And,
Absolutely.
And I'd like to do a solo interview with her sometime. I mean, even just remotely, because then she's out in California.
Yeah, I can set it up.
Yeah. That would be great, because I had her with you guys in that Zoom interview, but... You know.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. She's wonderful. You know, being a good person and, you know, having a nice personality, too, really goes a long way in this industry. Mm-hmm. You don't want to work with some jerk for 5 weeks.
No.
You can't. I'll give you 5 minutes. Get out of here. You know, I'm done. You know, and I tell people, you know how it works. But no, Erin, no, she makes the room brighter.
Yeah.
You know, everybody on this cast of Harvey was that way.
Yeah.
You know, maybe except for me, because I was so stressed. But no, we all stay in touch with each other. And,
that's great.
Yeah, no, we root for each other. You see us on the social platforms, and you know how we comment and compliment each other.
Oh, sure.
You need that, and it shows. You know, there's a real camaraderie amongst this cast, and I couldn't be more proud of the cast, man.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, to get a little bit back to you now.
Yeah.
It's like, you started really in music.
I did.
Right? And do you ever have those dreams back then, maybe before you got to be an actor, like, well, I want to be a recording artist, I want to have a band that goes on the road and makes a lot of money and all of that? Yeah. Or was that still a dream?
I can write that in a script and that'll be over with. You know, when I was a musician, I'm still a musician.
Yes,
when I was in a band, my band, you know, we got spoiled really quickly because we were good. I'm just going to say it. We were good. We were very post-punk meets alternative meets new wave. And we broke into the private school sector here in Baltimore. So all the big private schools followed my band. And we were known as the band that always had a ton of girls at their shows.
Wow.
So every band wanted to play with the unknown. So it was so much fun, and we came out with 2 albums, and we toured the country and opened up for some amazing acts, and we even played like clubs like the legendary CBGB's in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
I am. All within the ages of 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Wow.
We were so
young kids.
Young kids. I can't believe our parents even let us take that VW van and tour the East Coast and around. But you know, like all great things, you know, I came to an end. You know, it just, you know, music was changing. Our attitudes were changing. We had to go to college. Girlfriends broke up the band. I don't know.
Oh,
you know, yeah.
An old story.
Yeah, we're all kind of used to that. But I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I know that I wanted to do something that was in the entertainment world.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on stage. I was so used to being on stage and, you know, hearing an applause or hearing boos, whatever, man. I just wanted to get some kind of reaction. So I decided to go back to college, and I got into NYU. And in NYU, I was just doing general studies. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in something that had to do with either music or just something that was in, like, performing.
Okay.
And then I realized that there was a lot of acting on stage when you played. And, you know, the interaction between the band members and, you know, getting the right cues and, you know, and just being what you had to be in the band to make it work. So I said, you know what, let me try my hand at acting. And they have, of course, the Fine Arts Actors Studio program. And I think I auditioned like 8 months, every other week for 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, to get into this actors program. And
the famous Actors Studio.
The famous Actors Studio.
When that guy used to have the TV show.
Yeah, all those guys, yeah. You know, and I remember when I got in, they either let me in because they really liked what I did, or they just felt sorry for me, because seriously, I just kept going back.
For 8 months, they let you in.
Yeah, well, and I understand now why they never let me, they wouldn't let me in. And even when I was in class, the actors wouldn't let me in.
Wow.
Because I was a musician. I wasn't an actor.
Right.
You know, and acting is not easy. You know, I've learned through the years, acting is not easy. So I'm coming in as this rock and roll guy, and you know, they were like, no one ever, you know, wanted to team up with me for dialogue. No one wanted to be my scene partner. I did a lot of my stuff as monologues, and I did a lot of my stuff on my own, which actually helped me in the long run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't have a problem with that. If anything, it helped strengthen my, you know, my memory. and how to retain dialogue, because I'm so ADD that, I'm all over the map. But I remember just falling into acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it, and I still do today, of course. But it was it was tough. I mean, my acting at the actor studio was not. It wasn't my most favorable, semesters, in college.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, it was tough, I guess, because you were an outsider. They hadn't paid your dues.
No.
You weren't an actor trying to get into the actor studio.
No.
Here's this pretender who's a musician.
That's exactly
who
it.
wants to come in and be with us in our little club.
Right. And I was like, look, man, I'm just trying to act here. And they're like, no, you're not. No, not with us. Not with us. Until I finally started, I earned my stripes,
Yeah.
from the program, but I never got the respect from any of those actors.
Yeah.
And it's great now because, I know what I've been doing, and I know a lot of them have seen me because a lot of them have friended me on Facebook, and they're no longer acting. So I'm kind of like the last man standing, I guess.
So there you go. So you get the last laugh.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah, man.
But one thing today is what was the first break? What really got you your first job in acting, or how'd you get that break, or what was it? First job?
So many. I mean, let's start with TV.
Is that how you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
All My Children.
Oh, okay. You were there.
All My Children. Yeah, Susan Lucci, and I had such a blast working with Kelly Ripa, and
you were on set with these people.
Yeah, Matt Borlini. Oh yeah, can you believe it? But again, I kind of still have that rock star vibe. It's just kind of me. On the show, I was a Pine Valley High School student, but I was also kind of the leather jacket Pine Valley High School student, which worked, and that's great.
Okay.
From there, I moved on, and I started making connections and ties with a lot of casting directors up and down the East Coast, from Boston to Florida, and I started auditioning, and I always booked the bad guy. I always booked leather jacket types with the heart, the rebel, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's fine with me because I was working.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my name out there, and I'm also learning. I'm learning how to work a set, how not to step on cables, how not to look in camera lenses, how to hit my marks because the lights are there.
All right.
You know how this is. So years goes by, and another break comes when I booked Dawson's Creek,
Yeah.
But then if you want to rewind, I mean, a big break for me could have been when I worked with David Morris, Ned Beatty, and Andre Brower on Homicide.
Right.
So,
yeah, a lot of breaks there.
For me, there's never been a big break. There's always been a lot of little big breaks.
Little big breaks.
Yeah, little big breaks,
And it's sort of like this Harvey thing, the way it's taking off. This is another leap kind of maybe for your career and
Absolutely.
And all the people who are in the cast.
Without question. I don't think there's ever that overnight success thing. It's, it would be great. I mean, sure, who wouldn't have wanted that 20 years ago?
Yeah.
But within this 20 years, I've really learned so much. I've learned what I like. I learned what I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. I've also learned that I enjoy producing. An actor doesn't just have to act.
Right.
An actor can produce. An actor can direct. An actor can cast. An actor can give advice.
Oh, sure.
Or an actor can just shut up. It really, it doesn't. There's so many things an actor can do other than act. I always tell people, an actor that just acts 24/7 is the most boring actor in the world. You have to have special skills and abilities and show them your that you work on languages and surfing, I don't care, whatever. Show them that you have these other abilities other than acting, because there are a lot of actors out there.
Yeah.
A lot of good actors out there. The competition's fierce. But if they're looking for someone that speaks Portuguese and you're a good actor and you can speak Portuguese, well, you've already cut out half of your competition, because I'm sure a lot of those people can't speak Portuguese.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good. You got to have a lot of tools in your chest, as they would say.
Always.
That kind of thing.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I post so many videos of me surfing, skating, snowboarding, one-wheeling, singing.
Yeah.
It just, because there's more to me than just the characters I play, obviously. But casting directors watch that too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I speak languages, so I put out videos on my YouTube of me speaking the languages, and when auditions come up, my agent will send those links. So we just put this up.
Right.
He speaks this, he does that, and
yeah,
that's how I get these auditions. I mean,
Yeah.
you show
I know
them
you
how
did
well.
that mob piece or whatever not too long ago, and I thought you had scenes there where the guys were only speaking Italian.
Oh yeah, that was
you did too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, that was the clean job.
Yeah, that one.
You're good, man. God, I can't get anything past you. Yes, that was a fun lighthearted Italian comedy drama. Peter, my director, phenomenal director, great writer. We had such a blast shooting that. And my banter, man, that was hardcore Sicilian Italian.
Right.
And we had such a blast. And everybody on set, of course, spoke Italian.
Yeah, had all those Paisan actors.
All those Paisan actors, and it was fun. It was good to keep that on my demo reel because I booked a few voiceovers.
Yeah.
And I got to do in Italian not too long ago.
Terrific.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll have to send you a link of that film.
I would love to
take
see
a look
the whole
at
thing.
it.
Yeah,
of course, brother.
And I remember seeing clips, I think.
Yeah, man.
With this career of yours, 20 years plus, we'll say,
Sure.
Are there types of roles that you haven't played that you would like to play?
Wow. Great question. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
there's nothing that comes to the top of your head right now.
Nothing really. I've enjoyed every character I've ever played.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter, so whenever I book, I feel like, I got another one. It's great. And I'm stereotyped a lot with a certain type of acting or character. Rocker. Second in command. I like being the second in command.
Okay.
I don't like being the lead.
You don't want to be lead.
It's too much responsibility. If you're second in command, man, you can really shine. I'd rather be Kanicki than Danny Zuko.
Okay.
I'd rather be that guy because, first of all, you can run circles around the lead, man, and really outshine them and do your work and have a lot of fun with it. And if you're the lead, everybody's got their eyes on you. And I don't have a problem with that, but yeah, I enjoy, I enjoy the second in command type characters and helping the lead look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I will say ensemble, but in a sense too. I mean, Harvey, you're not really the lead there either. Yeah. Harvey is the lead. Harvey's the character.
Harvey's the lead.
Yeah. And but you have a significant role there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a huge guest starring. Of course, it's or co-starring. He's Keith, my character, who Rennell wrote for me.
Yeah.
And I love that character. Erin O'Brien always says that's her favorite character. Maybe that's her just kissing my ass. I don't know. It's messing with you. Erin, I love you. Keith was a fun role. And Keith he is part of the main leads, but he's not the lead.
No.
And I don't mind that. Because I can shine. I can really show you what I can do with this character without the whole entire film being weighed on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Darius Autry is a fantastic actor.
Great. I thought he was a great young man.
Phenomenal, man. I worked with him on, what was the movie called? Legacy of Love.
Legacy of Love.
Yeah. And we didn't have any scenes together, but I watched some of his footage. And I remember when Rennell said, we got to cast this lead for Harvey. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Darius? And before she even finishes, I said, he's perfect. Mm-hmm. Darius Autry is perfect. Mm-hmm. And I remember him calling me and he's like, dude, man, you really think I can do this? I said, are you kidding? Yeah, I've seen what you can do in Legacy of Love, and I know how he's a theater actor.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say he does a lot of theater.
You know that, right?
Which helps. Last I saw was he was supposed to be doing a Romeo and
Juliet in Florida, yeah. And I'm going to try to see him the night before Legacy of Love screens. I'm going to try to go to his production. But, we both come from the house of theater, so do I. I love the stage. So I was like, there's no question in my mind you can do this. Mm-hmm. So I was like, thank you for the vote of confidence. And I remember being on set with him, and I directed him a few times. He takes direction like a vet.
Oh.
Yeah, like a veteran. And he's so new in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he listens, That's
Good.
a big deal for actors. You have to listen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... No, he's fun to work with, and the ensemble cast, everybody was great.
Yeah.
You had all levels of vets and newbies.
Somebody else we should mention that wasn't mentioned was Kevin Wynn.
Oh, my boy.
As the bad guy.
Yeah, my God. He came in as actually like, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't have his character cast until 2 or 3 days before we started filming.
Wow.
We had somebody, I think, that was going to play the role, and they couldn't do it. They got sick or whatever it was. They couldn't do it. We had to find a replacement. And I was out of, options. And I said, Renell, who do you got? She goes, I've got this guy. He worked with us on Empath in the concept trailer. And I worked with him a few times, and he's a great actor. I said, which one? She showed me his photo, and I was like, yeah, he looks kind of menacing. I think he can do this. And he came on set. He was the newest actor because we've all been filming now for a few days.
Yeah.
So he came in as like the odd man. He was like me at NYU. And we're like, he opened the door and we all like turned and looked at him. And he was nervous. I remember him telling me, he's like, man, I'm nervous. I'm like, don't be. You know what you can do. I know what you can do because Renell, she vouches for you. So just do it. Yeah, don't worry about anybody else. If you screw up, you screw up. But don't screw up because I'm directing you. So no, we had a blast, and Kevin we become very close. Yeah, he's a great guy, and I think you interviewed him here in Baltimore.
Of course I did.
The senator, yeah.
And I thought he was very nice and all these kind of like gentle giants. He looks like the Hulk or something.
Totally.
It's all muscle,
It's all muscle, right?
But he's such a nice person.
No, he's one of the nicest guys ever, and you want to have that reputation, like I said earlier in this interview. You want to be known as a nice person. You want to be known as someone that people want to have in the room.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there are too many egotistical, just leave it at that, types that, yes, they work, but sometimes the price isn't worth it,
Yeah.
I love this cast. I really do. I love everyone from the director down. Everybody's
terrific,
fantastic, and we have a great future ahead of us.
Yeah,
Harvey's doing well.
Yeah,
and the next projects that we're going to be in development off this slate are going to do equally as well, if not better.
Terrific.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
And one last thing about your acting. I'm not done asking things, but about you in specific was how do you play a lot of different types of roles? How do you prepare for a role?
I have my own method. You have to remember, if I'm coming in as an actor,
if you're coming just as an actor, how do you prepare for the role?
Yeah, okay, so you book the gig.
Okay.
Agent calls you, hey, congratulations, Alonso, you booked the job. I'm like, hey, all right. So you wait for the script. When I get the script, I read through it. And I'll read through it, and I'll read through it without even trying to memorize. I'll read it maybe 5 or 10 times. It's not easy trying to just keep reading. It's
the whole script.
Not
just your sides.
Not just my sides, the whole script.
Okay.
And then I'll put it down for a day. And then I'll come back to it. And I'll read the script now slowly. And I'll say, oh, I remember some of these lines. Yeah, see, I remember some of the scene. Now let's go into our dialogue.
Okay.
And I'll find my dialogue. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember some of these lines. See, it's already starting to stick.
Yeah.
I realize this because I'm a musician.
Okay.
Watch this. Some people have a hard time memorizing dialogue. But for some reason, no one seems to have a problem memorizing lyrics. If you see. So I've applied that to the way I study.
Okay.
I'll just keep reading. It's like listening to the song over and over, hitting rewind.
Got it.
Yeah. And then it just sticks. I don't try to build character when I'm reading.
Yeah.
I do have ideas of what I want to do. But you don't want to come in saying, hey, when I say these words, I'm going to move my left arm. No. What are you, a robot? Come on, man. No, it's got to be organic.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it's cool to think that, I might do this when these lines come up. But when you're actually on set, the director may be like, okay, you're going to be sitting down the entire time.
Okay.
And I don't want you to blink. So, don't come prepared with your own direction.
Okay.
Just know how to build a character.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned to you on the set of Harvey that my character, and I'll give away a secret, my character Keith was heavily influenced by a couple of characters done by Harvey Keitel and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel's character in Reservoir Dogs, Mr. White.
Yes, Mr. White.
I pulled a lot of his physicalities. There's one scene when Keith, my character, and Madison, played by Allison, we're yelling at each other in front of the cooler. It's in the trailer, so if you guys want to watch the trailer. Yeah. And I do this, or my character does this, and then he open hands and says his line. That is a typical Harvey Keitel move.
Okay.
I've studied Keitel for years, and when he'll answer, he'll look at you for a pregnant pause of 1, and then he'll go like this.
Okay.
So I threw that in my character in that scene. There's another scene where Keith is I'm unraveling. Oh, Keith is unraveling. Oh, it's after the big.
Don't give.
I can't give anything away. So after this big scene happens, Keith is doing this.
Yeah.
And he's doing this. I stole that from Al Pacino's scene in Godfather when Pacino and Michael Corleone kills Sollozzo, because I remember just being enthralled by that scene. It's like Pacino didn't say a word, yet I knew everything about that scene. So I needed to incorporate that in Harvey. So yeah, a lot of my close-ups are heavily influenced by some of my favorite actors, and of course I made it my own. I had to. I'm not going to copy them, but you can see my body language. I mean, like the Keitel piece, and then the whole Al Pacino piece. I mean, it's like, oh wow, now that he mentioned, I can see that. But no one was just going to know right off the bat unless they were told. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say, though, so you do steal some business or came into the set with this business ready.
Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. And if I could use it, great. If I can't, that's okay, too. But I always tell people that I like watching movies, and certain scenes really stick in my head. And I'll remember it. It's kind of a weird photographic type memory. I'll remember it. I'll remember everything about it, and I'll store it. So if I'm doing a scene, if I'm on set, and I really need to be impressive for myself and the director. I could care less about everybody else. If the director and if I have to impress the director, and I'm just not feeling this scene, I'll go back to my memory and find one of my scenes that I really like, and I'll add it into my character, and it's like lightning. All of a sudden, it just kind of works.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a method.
Now, but like a lot of people, or at least they used to say, create a backstory for their character. Do you ever do that?
I used to. I mean, that's acting 101. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, everybody has a method. And everybody will say that, and honestly, they just say it, but they don't really mean it.
Okay.
Come on, man. I mean, I know too many actors, oh, yeah, I create this BS. Come on.
Created it, right?
But no, and there are that do, but maybe in my own way, I do create a backstory. Yeah. But I don't, like for Keith, for example, I didn't write, when he was 6 years old, he used to go to this. Well, no, I don't do
that kind of stuff.
No.
It's big in theater.
I need it right here, right now. Yeah. Film is happening right here and right now. So.
Yeah, it's spontaneous, right?
Yeah, it's called.
It's more in the moment, more the emotions, all that.
It's called acting, man.
Right.
Right.
Now, another thing I found that was kind of interesting, besides all these other talents, acting, directing, casting, producing, you've done some writing. Let's talk about Scare B&B. I love the title, Scare B&B.
Yeah. You're good. I always say you're good. You know how to keep me on my toes in these interviews. Scare B&B, yes. LA Love the Boss, 88 Fingers, the whole team, Elise, they're great people. Scare B&B is actually a concept. We were going to shoot a concept trailer, which turned into a bigger idea. It's very hard for me to explain. I wrote the idea.
You didn't write the script?
I didn't write the script.
Dialogue.
No. The dialogue was not written by me. I came up with an idea for these producers.
It's a concept.
Yeah, concept. And they loved it. So we shot in Atlanta, I think about a year ago. And the trailer, the pilot looks amazing. Great music, great vibe.
Okay.
Dark lit. And, but I can't talk much about it because it's been in the rings with a few of these networks, but I know two of them have said no to it. One of them we're still waiting on, so I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But my job takes me everywhere, man. As you know, it will say Baton Rouge. Next thing you know, I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. Like, how do you get around? Like, I don't know, man.
You get there.
I'm good. Yeah, I get there and I'm good. That's how it works.
Something surprised me that I looked us all somewhere online because, I say, what can I ask him about? Because I've interviewed you so many times.
Yeah.
Is that something said that you're a gearhead and that you do or you used to restore cars.
I did, yeah.
Have you done that? Have you actually got in there with your dirty under the car and restoring cars?
I'll have to show you my old 64 Ironhead Harley.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, your motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm a big motorcycle.
You're into motorcycles too, you and your dad.
Yeah, God, you're good. I restored with my father a 1957 Thunderbird.
Oh, wow.
When I was younger, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
that was just, my father picked it up in Florida, drove it up 95, and it sat in the garage for years. And then when I got older, I was like, I love this car. And he's like, yeah, it's a great ride, and it needs some work. And I was like, well, why don't we do this together? And he's a doctor, he doesn't have any time.
Yeah.
So I decided to start pulling things apart, and I learned. I mean, this is with just from talking to like gearheads, going to swap meets, reading and trial and error, and there was a lot of error in the beginning. But I restored that T-Bird, and she's a beauty. Oh yeah, she purrs, man.
Terrific.
So yeah, it's good stuff. My next project's a 1947 Indian Chief.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my grandfather used to have one, so I'm trying to make that my next project.
I was gonna say way back, my grandfather actually rode an Indian. So.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Right on, man. I knew there was something cool about you.
And of course, you're also a collector. I mean, one thing I know about, you collect old televisions.
I do.
I mean, like really old ones.
I do.
Like 40s, 50s, portable ones.
Yeah, and they all work. The ones that I have, I restore them.
You restore them too?
I do, yeah. A TV's easy to work on. It's only from here to here.
Yeah.
And here to here, so.
They're getting the tubes and stuff, right?
Well, I mean, they're out there. They're out there. There's NOS parts, and just like cars, these 50s cars that I love, and the 40s cars that I love, and the 60s, you can go to swap meets and find anything you want. If they don't have it, they know somebody that does. Same thing with TVs. And I think I have about 16 or 17 vintage televisions.
And do you keep them all in your house?
Yeah, I keep a lot of them in storage. The ones that are out and on display.
Okay.
Like the Philco Predicta. It looks like it's something from outer space.
That one, yeah. I've seen it in movies.
Super cool, man.
It's got on TVs,
yeah. And I'm just a big fan. I mean, you fire up the television and you can smell the burning of the old tubes.
Yeah.
I'm just that's just how I am, man.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, totally. I've been around for like 300 years, man.
We know you're.
Yeah, I'm a vampire.
You're a vampire.
Yeah. So these kind of things are cool to me,
I know.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything else? Guitars? No.
I do. I collect guitars. Yes, I have a lot of guitars.
Wow.
Maybe too many, but yeah, you can never have too many. I also collect a lot of leather jackets.
Oh wow.
Yeah. A lot of vintage stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's just from throughout the years. I mean, I love going to like old pawn shops and junk shops.
Yeah.
We used to have a lot of them here in Fells Point.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I used to
like them.
Yeah, I used to pick up so much stuff. But now it's really sad. They're all gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten too gentrified for me, Fells Point.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
But I remember when I used to go to Greektown in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah, in Astoria. And I used to go to all the junk shops up there, and I found some of the coolest guitars that I still have today that are worth so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just have to know what you're looking for. I love collecting.
That's right. Yeah, I'm a collector too.
Yeah, man.
But the other thing, so we're going to look at what's in the future for Johnny Alonso. That's how we'll close this.
What's in the future?
I mean, in your career.
I was going to say sleep.
Just in your career.
Sleep? Okay, just in my career.
Yeah, not life.
Yeah, right. Well, I've got a couple projects, for the majors, for network.
Right.
That I'm going to be
great,
on.
yeah.
I'm excited about that. We'll do a follow-up. Maybe I'll do a satellite from the hotel when I'm on set with these people for you.
Okay, perfect.
Of course, producing these 3 projects. This is in the immediate future, at least within the next year. Career-wise, yeah, I mean, everybody wants me to try to get into directing. I mean, I've been getting a lot of these interviews and write-ups. They're asking about my next directing project.
Interesting.
And I might direct a project with that guy I mentioned earlier, Edward Abramson. He has a really cool kind of psycho horror.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. And that would be fun. I mean, that's okay.
Would you appear in it, or would you just direct it?
I might just direct it. I might just direct. Yeah. He wants me to come in as like this character, but I said, you know what? If we can find somebody else to do it, I would rather just sit and direct.
Cool.
Yeah, but if I haven't done one of these films in a while, so yes, I would love to be in a psycho horror.
Oh, okay.
I would. I mean,
a bloody one.
A bloody one, yeah. Not just a psychological thrillers, yeah. The bloody psycho horror.
So we have to talk to Kevin Kangas.
Yeah, I've been in a few of his films, as you know, and he's a great guy, and he's one of the best in the area for that. So Yeah, bro.
Because, I mean, instead of just being in SAG, just think if you start directing, you could be DGA, you could be Director Guild of America.
I need another one of those. But yes, I'm a big fan to the union. I really am.
Yeah.
And they've taken care of me for so many years.
Okay.
And, I mean, there's some good stuff ahead, man. I mean,
I think so. You say this year looks big.
It does. It does, yeah. I mean,
it's all starting to come together. See, I mean,
it is. Like we said, there isn't that one big break. It's a bunch of little big breaks, man.
And it's like, they've said, and that's like an old story, an old joke. They said, man, this guy is an overnight success, but it took him 20 years.
Right. That would be me, but add a zero behind that 20. 200 years. Yeah, that's me. I'm telling you, man, it's you have to love what you do. If you don't love it, man, I feel bad for people that are stuck in their 9 to 5, 9 to 9, and that's all they can do. Right. I'm very fortunate to do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Got any last words that you want to impart to the field people out here?
Well, maybe just to you guys. Thank you for having me on the show again.
Always a pleasure.
Dude, thank you. Whenever I come back into town, I always come to you.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, and
appreciate it.
I'd like to thank Midnight Releasing, of course. Acord International. Samara Entertainment, of course, Macrovision Entertainment, Dark Rodent Films. And everybody that just, helped me put the film together with this amazing collected team. I mean, we really enjoyed it. And, I hope if you haven't seen Harvey, please watch it.
Yeah.
And, give us the stars and give us, write a comment and just let us know what you think.
Terrific. Well, thank you for being here again.
Thank you, man. Good seeing you. Good seeing you.
And ladies and gentlemen, again, that's tonight's show, and it's always a pleasure to have our friend and family member, Johnny Alonso, here. And you'll be hearing more from him and other members of the cast and crew that he has worked with, because they're all wonderful people. And I'm glad to see they're finally getting national recognition that they all so much deserve. So until the next time, this is Paul Stefan saying, see you later.
You're watching The Paul Stefan Show on TV Free Baltimore.